Sal here. Just to reintroduce myself for those of you who didn't see my introductory lounge room chat the other day. My name is Sal and I'm a mother of 2 special needs children. A 13-year-old with autism spectrum disorder, ADHD and a significant anxiety disorder. And I also have a 9-year-old gender diverse child who's a patient at the Children's Hospital Gender Adolescent Medicine Clinic. And I'm also a nurse, a neuroscience nurse. So I care for patients with acquired brain injuries through trauma or any sort of neurovascular incident. So why am I here today? So I'm here to give you some anecdotes about my journey as a mum of 2 special needs children. So just some tips and strategies, even some little breaking thought processes, some little golden nuggets of information that I've acquired through my journey as a mum. There'll be lots of personal information, personal anecdotes that I've acquired along the way. But today in particular, I'm going to be talking about alternative forms of communication for an autistic or ADHD child, because invariably ASD children find it hard to call upon their emotions and how they see their external environment and also how they see what they need. So there's other alternative forms of communication out there. Behaviour is a form of communication for them. So behaviour, whether it be negative or positive, occurs for a reason. It usually occurs because of within an ASD brain there's disorganised sensory systems. But rest assured, no child wants negative feedback. So they actually want to be guided and supported kindly into how to communicate appropriately. Another important and paramount variable in offering a child a platform to communicate is a sensory friendly environment. So low lighting, maybe even some aids provided by an occupational therapist, such as a colourful mat to put a white piece of paper on before they draw or write so that the information pops out at them. Also allow for breaks for self-regulation. So for example, quiet areas, pillows, a pacifier. They might have a blanket or a sensory device that they'd like to hold on to prior to communicating. Keep your expectations reasonable. Talking before about age-appropriate information. ASD children are usually 4 years emotionally younger than their actual age. So make sure that you're providing information or a space that's appropriate for their emotional age. And the last most important point is believe in them. Not only believe in them, but believe in yourself. Because Henry Ford once said that whether you believe you can do it or you believe you can't do it, you're usually right, which is a great sentiment, because we do determine our outcomes based on our mindset. So as a parent and you're wanting to communicate effectively with your child, you've just got to think kindly and believe in them. You probably all noticed my little friend on my left shoulder. My little friend is the subject of a story, an anecdote of communication in my household. So, an alternative means of communication that I thought about when trying to ascertain why my child was having a meltdown or try to work out how they were feeling about a certain situation that happened at the time, I went to Officeworks and bought a whiteboard so that my child could use different coloured whiteboard markers to maybe write down how they were feeling or a picture to communicate their thought processes or what they were feeling at the time. So I explained this to my son. He would have been about 11 at the time, and there was a particular incident that occurred, and I was trying to nut out after the after the event, because it's futile to try and communicate with your child when they are in that emotional dysregulation state, that fight and flight state, because they will not recall why they're displaying these behaviours. It's just a very visceral, primitive need that they need, that fight and flight response. So when my then 11-year-old had calmed down, I showed him the whiteboard and gave him some markers, and I said, sweetheart, I really am sad in my heart that you are upset and you're anxious. I really want to hear your story because it's really important to me. So I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to leave you with the whiteboard and some markers, and you just draw a picture or create or write any words that you'd like, and I will come down and I will, read that information, and hopefully we can come to a solution. I went upstairs, folded my washing, did what I had to do, came down, and that guy was on the whiteboard. So I, swallowing my laughter and just trying to grapple it, okay, let's interpret this little, form of communication. I don't know. The dick and balls made me do it. I don't know. I'm having a dick and balls kind of day because we all have them. But I think what I ascertained from that is that my 11-year-old, wasn't really on board with this form of communication and would have rather have just, okay, let's just call it a day. I've just had a meltdown, Mum. So this is the feeling that I got. So, you know what? It all comes down to reevaluating, all your methods. And for me, it was clear through the picture evidence that we might just go back to the drawing board. Thank you for listening. And remember, what I need you to do every night is to look into that mirror and say to yourself that you've got this and that you're doing a great job. Because we all have the dick and balls kind of day, and they will continue.